Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin with Judiciary Matters as the year 2021 was a progressive one for the sector in terms of its support for the current administration's fight on corruption. This is due to the number of corrupt individuals convicted through the instrumentality of the law. Olabode Arewa takes a look at some of these achievements.
In the year 2021, the wheels of justice continues to grind slowly but steadily in ensuring that justice is served. Conviction of corrupt individuals have been on the increase. The recent order of the Federal High Court Abuja designating bandits as terrorists has been described as a major step in giving legal support to the nation's bid to get rid of criminals masquerading as bandits. In 2021, the judiciary also used the instrumentality of the law to ensure the forfeiture of corruptly acquired assets of serving and former public officials. This included $153 million, 23 billion naira, 80 properties, and $40 million worth of jewelry recovered from former Petroleum Minister Diezani Alice Madueke and forfeited to the federal government. Conviction and sentencing to jail of the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Tax Team, Abdulrasheed Maina, and his son Faisal for their complicity in the theft of pension funds. Former MD of Bank PHB, Francis Atuche, was also jailed 6 years for 25.7 billion naira theft. In November, the Enugu Division of the Federal High Court convicted 17 internet fraudsters for cybercrime. This December also, a Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, sentenced a fake oil magnate, Vincent Ayigo, to 175 years imprisonment for defrauding an American, Joseph Cruz, of $629,000 in a crude oil supply scam. The judiciary has also put modalities in place for the transparent disposal of the forfeited assets by engaging valuers to handle the assets disposal. For example, the court supported the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Offences Commission, ICPC, in the recovery of over 1.1 billion naira from corrupt individuals in the first quarter of 2021 alone, and also did same for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in the conviction of at least 978 defendants.
I am happy to report that by the UNODC report, Nigeria has recorded tremendous improvement as acknowledged internationally in the fight against corruption, which is unprecedented in the history of Nigeria as it relates to the fight against corruption.
The judiciary, they are doing their best, but more efforts are needed because the rates of criminality in our nation is alarming. So we need them to double their efforts. Criminal matters are matters against the state, and it is being mainly brought up by the police to the courts. So we need a kind of working hand in hand between the police and even the courts in order to ensure that matters are taken to court as at when due, and for the judiciary to do the needful to ensure that they get to the conclusion of the matter on time.
The key instruments which have helped to ensure these successes included the Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015, the Evidence Act, particularly Section 84, Code of Conduct Bureau, as well as the ICPC and the EFCC Act. It is noteworthy that under the provisions of ACJA 2015, proceedings in criminal trials are now to be held on a daily basis, thereby shortening the lifespan of cases.
The administration of criminal justice has really done well, and we're encouraging some states that have not adopted it to do so, because it's for some judges, they are using it and it is working very well.
The long arm of the law is also working hard to nail all those involved in the $2.1 billion arms scandal, otherwise called Dasuki Gate. Experts noted that while no law is perfect, a continuous review of the nation's status to be in accord with current realities, no doubt, would ensure that people with criminal intents do not go scot-free. In Abuja, Olabodarawa, NTA News.
In a related development, the judiciary lived up to the expectations of many Nigerians in the year 2021, particularly when it mattered most in cases that threatened the nation's democracy. In this report, correspondent Austin Anyebe takes a look at few landmark civil matters that were resolved by the Supreme Court.
The judiciary has been a strong pillar of Nigeria's democracy, having been involved in adjudication of intra- and inter-party squabbles, and to a large extent restore confidence in the nation's electoral process. Between 2020 and 2021, several civil matters arising from the conduct of primaries and governorship elections were entertained. The first was the Edo governorship election, where Godwin Obaseki of the People's Democratic Party was dragged to court by the APC and others over alleged certificate forgery. Justice Ahmed Mohammed of the Federal High Court, Abuja, however, dismissed the suit for lacking in merit. Not satisfied, the complainants pursued the case up to the Supreme Court, but still suffered the same fate for the APC not being able to prove a case of forgery against Godwin Obaseki. The second one was the case instituted against Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu by the PDP governorship candidate Eita Ojegede in the October 2020 under governorship election. The grounds of the petition were that Akeredolu was not validly nominated by the All Progressive Congress by virtue of the fact that the APC Critical Committee is illegal and massive irregularities during the conduct of the election. The governor won at the tribunal and the Court of Appeal, a feat that was equally followed at the Supreme Court. The judgment, though, seen as a slim victory, following 4 and 3 on the divide.
It doesn't really matter that it is those who file actions in court that must win. So the facts of the matter as put before the judiciary must be the deciding factor in arriving at conclusions in political issues, rather than succumbing to political pressures from quarters that are not supposed to interfere.
Sometimes a case already failed even before coming to court because of the pleadings prepared by counsel. But you can see that in Edo and Ondo, the court followed the trend, how the pleadings were done, and everything pursued up to Supreme Court, and judgments were delivered within time. None of these judgments were delivered out of time. So that is to tell you that the judiciary is sitting well.
The one that is fresh in mind is a controversy that characterized the party primaries in the just concluded Anambra governorship elections. Litigation that followed the primaries almost marred the exercise, but the Supreme Court moved swiftly to put to rest all contentious issues by recognizing Professor Charles Soludo as the authentic candidate of APGA in the election. The election he won and awaiting swearing in.
It's mostly in election matters that you see lawyers misrepresenting facts to deceive the court to get the orders that suit their client. But I believe, and strongly too, that an end has come or will soon come to all this ex parte, indiscriminate obtaining of ex parte orders.
Analysts have the view that the judiciary has performed well in 2021, considering the number of both criminal and civil cases filed before them. They express hope that the judiciary continue to uphold her independence, particularly as Nigeria edges towards another election period, as it is still the last hope of the ordinary citizens.
The tempo of political activities is going to heighten in such a way as to generate a lot of infractions on the constitutional rights of political actors. And what that means is that the judiciary must be ready and prepared to receive a number of cases, a number of suits for it to decide, and it must do so fairly and courageously.
In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
To have more perspectives on the performance of the judiciary sector in 2021, joining us to talk more about it is Akinlolu Kehinde, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thanks for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
What will be your assessment of the performance of the judiciary in the 2020-2021 legal year?
Thank you so very much. I must pay very, very quality kudos to the Nigerian judiciary. It has performed well above average because when you look at the conditions and the challenges facing the judiciary, you will agree with my assessment that the judiciary has done really, really well. They've been able to stand up when it matters most, and they've been able to effectively manage the otherwise crises that will have erupted from our political landscape. I would just want to say one thing, and that is the idea of people going to the media to analyze and to condemn judgments of our courts without first reading the judgments is a source of worry to me as a counsel, as a senior counsel.
Now, tell me more about the level of access to justice within the legal year under review.
Very good. The courts are open. The courtrooms are open. And what we always tell people is that before you approach the court, make sure that you have your facts. Make sure that your pleadings are well settled. And you don't go to court just for the fun of it and for propaganda or for sentimental reasons. The judges, the courts have been working, they've been doing their very best. And all we need to do is to keep encouraging them and also encouraging that the enabling environment must be provided for the judiciary to effectively carry out its constitutional responsibilities. The outgoing year has been quite stressful. I want to encourage them. We are entering an election year, 2022-2023. There's going to be a deluge of judicial activities. There's going to be a lot of cases that will be filed, some for nuisance value, some to further broaden the landscape. But whatever it is, we know that whoever approaches the court must be given the hearing. And so the judges, the court must be ready for those number of cases that will be coming their way. I will also use this opportunity to speak briefly about the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. There's a need for us to, as a nation, to be sincere with ourselves and find out what is the realistic approach to our current challenges so that we don't fall into a situation where we will throw the water and the baby and the bathwater out at the same time. So I will encourage the National Assembly as quickly as possible. There are some very, very beautiful provisions in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill that they need to tinker with and send it back to the President for his assent so that we can have a smoother years ahead of us.
Well, Akinlolu Kehinde, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, would like to thank you for coming. But if you can still hear me out there, can you just have, let's have your projections for the 2021-2022 legal year based on the assessment and analysis you've given us?
One, the judiciary must be funded, well funded. Two, Nigerians must believe in the judiciary. We must stop this attitude of pull down the judiciary by all means just because they don't have a voice. The senior members and the members of the larger society must stand up and preserve the integrity and the honor of the judiciary. Because I'll tell you, without sounding immodest, without the intervention of the judiciary, without the judiciary properly placed, we are not going anywhere with our democratic experience. And so 2022, 2023, let us all cooperate with the judiciary so that we can have a better society. That is my message for Nigerians. That is my message for the legal profession.
Akinlolu Kehinde would like to thank you for coming on Nationwide today. I'll be conversing with Akinlolu Kehinde, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria on the performance of the judiciary sector in the year 2021. Let's move on nationwide and go over to our Lagos Network Center, where Adeola is standing by. Good evening, Adeola.
Good evening, Ayo. They are committed to service delivery anytime duty calls. It doesn't matter if there is a global lockdown, curfew, or public holiday. Their portfolio demands that they show up for work. They are categorized as essential workers. Now that the holiday season occasioned by the Yuletide festivities is gliding to a finish, Dana Ajale takes us into the world of this exceptional class of workers.
The average worker looks forward to public holidays, more so when there is an extra weekend. However, the essential worker does not have the luxury of such. They exist to serve the public. They are found in various sectors, from health to telecoms, in utilities and power, then energy, and of course, journalism. Their schedule has no regard for collective time off. And here is how it feels, working when others are chilling.
I feel the same because this is what I do, so it's more like the same thing, and I enjoy doing my work.
To an outsider, it may look like business as usual, but do these hard workers secretly envy those who stay off work on holidays and weekends?
I'm not feeling bad. It's duty call, so I have to come and make sure that people have something to watch on the TV.
While the world appreciates their sacrifices, their families are also forced to sacrifice emotionally by putting up with their absence.
We are human beings. During the time of the festival like this, we would like to go out to enjoy with your loved ones or one thing or the other. But because of the job we find ourselves, we don't have any option than to come and do the work.
One is moved to ask how essential workers catch up with holiday periods and if they feel adequately compensated.
There's no option I have to do. At the end of the day, I get my reward, so sometimes I'm happy doing it.
Findings show that more often than not, essential workers invent ways to have fun at the workplace during festive periods in order not to interrupt the pledge of satisfying the public in fulfillment of their core mandates. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Now you know that essential workers are very important to the society. Now, few days after the Nigerian Customs Service announced the interception of 14 trailer loads of imported rice from different parts of Ogun State, operatives at the semi-border of the service have intercepted a container filled with items suspected to be tramadol capsules. Adeneyi Taiwo completes the report.
100 cartons of the items suspected to be tramadol capsules were concealed inside 200 packs of jumbo-sized adult diapers in a 1x20-foot container weighing 360 kilograms. The capsules and the diapers have a combined duty-paid value of 1,447,927,015 naira. Parading the items, the Customs Area Controller BM Jibo said the container with mark number MRKU 9090415 was handed over to the Seme Command on November 15, 2021 by the Republic of Benin authorities under transit to Nigeria. He added that the service invited other security agencies and stakeholders to witness the examination of the container on December 20, as no importer or his representative had come forward to continue the process of clearance procedure. Samples of the items have been handed over to NAFDAC to ascertain and confirm the drugs, while the command has also initiated a full-scale investigation to fish out those involved in the illicit importation. The area controller warned criminals to desist as officers and men of the command are not losing guards at ensuring that smuggling under any guise is brought to the barest minimum. In Lagos, Adeneyi Taiwo, NTA News.
It's now time for us to take a breather. The news will continue with Ayo in Abuja thereafter. To stay on to Nationwide.
Incidentally, we won't be taking a break at the moment, but we should continue with Nationwide and tell you that experts on fire have advised managers of malls and public buildings to factor risk management into their prevention mechanism. Discussing the prevention of fire disaster on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, they also recommended a review of the Fire Act. Ekemini Williams has more details.
The fire disaster may have struck without any form of warning, but men and equipment from the fire service stood their grounds. The Nigeria Police and its sister agencies gave cover, and the vicinity of the supermarket and items salvaged from the fire secured.
That viral videos are false, fake, is not true. All those trolleys, they were pushing those goods to safety, which we have shown Nigerians, they have seen it. All the media houses have already seen it. It's not true. The place has immediately been cordoned by all the joint security agencies. And I must commend the FEMA, the FCT NEMA, and all the security agencies for prompt response, and also the residents of this area for their effort and in cooperating with all of us.
With allegations of looting discredited, questions by hundreds of Nigerians whose livelihood depends on the business raise concerns.
Because we depend on this place. We depend. If this place is shut down like this, tell me somebody like Blessing. I'm a staff in this place. Somebody like Blessing, tell me where I will work. As in, tell me how food will come to my table.
An interface with a player in the insurance industry gives a ray of hope.
In this kind of circumstance, the response would be that the valuation will be done, an assessment will be done immediately to know what is left and what has been saved from the situation where we had good Nigerians that came out to move things out and all of that, and then the value of insurance that was done at the time would also be, a significant note to make, because sometimes you may have insured the place for X amount at the beginning of the year and paid the premium, as it were, but in the course of the year, you may have increased the content, you may have increased the value of the content of everything, and where the insurance is not properly informed of the content, sometimes you have a certain way what was damaged was of more value than what was insured.
Days after the fire disaster broke out here at the supermarket, there's still a couple of flames from some part of the building. An intermittent blast from combustible materials in there, indicating the fact that this fire may continue to burn for a couple of more days. In Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
And that was the report by Abdullahi Mohammed on fire incidents in a supermarket here in the Federal Capital Territory. Now let's go back to our earlier report where we'll tell you that experts have discussed on Good Morning Nigeria on means to reduce incidents of fire in malls and supermarkets in the Federal Capital Territory. Ekemini Williams will be our guide.
All the malls in the city, I can attest to that we always visit them and advise them on what to do. They will say they are going to comply, but they will not comply.
There has been a recurring concern about the capacity to prevent and fight fire disasters across the country. And the recent fire at the major mall in Abuja only compounded the situation. Experts on the program, however, say the country has adequate firefighting capacity and puts the blame on building developers who do not comply with the protocol for fire prevention nor provide for risk management in their building designs.
There was no accessibility that you can get into the mall. Again, already at the beginning of the fire, the wall has already compromised. So therefore, the safety of the firemen first, because they cannot just jet in and then get buried at that point in time. So what we are always saying is that malls like this should factor in risk management into their own plans. They must have a place that is, okay, in case of emergency, we'll be able to open this place so that a fire truck can have access.
Anytime the Inspectorate Division
goes to these people to request for this fire file, to know where the assessment, this risk assessment has get to, they will never show you. Why are you here? Look, don't stop embarrassing
you.
You
Actually do that?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Every institution is supposed to have fire file because on daily basis, the men are going up and down for risk assessment.
The first thing we do by passerby, especially if the residents are not aware, is to call the attention of the residents for them to escape.
They also recommend a review of the Fire Act, which has become obsolete.
It is 1963 law. You find out that it's restricted. There is no way somebody can take you to court for stealing his own premises because it has not given the absolute power. Absolute power, what I mean by absolute power for, except like in the FCT, we can use the urban and regional planning law and seal up a place, but not the Fire Act.
They say 90% of the fire disasters are man-made and can therefore be prevented through compliance with the fire protocol and advice from the fire service. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's go for a break. When we return, Suleiman in our Kaduna Network Center will be giving us the next set of reports.
Good afternoon and welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Strike Force of the Nigeria Customs Service Zone B has intercepted contraband items with duty paid value of more than 854 million naira in the last 3 months. Deputy Comptroller Customs and Coordinator of the Strike Force, Hosseini Aliyu, stated this while displaying the seized items in Kano. Awal Salisu has details.
The seizure was made through intelligence gathering at different locations in the zone under the anti-smuggling activities. The strike force succeeded in confiscating items which include cartons of spaghetti, bags of foreign rice, belts of second-hand clothes, vehicles and foreign shoes, among others, worth more than 854 million naira. Deputy Comptroller Customs and Coordinator of the Strike Force Zone B, Hussein Ali Olorokuba, said the seizure was made possible through the tireless efforts of the officers attached to the force. He said this is part of their commitment to enforce the Comptroller General's zero tolerance on smuggling along Nigerian borders.
We are prepared and ready as we see the assignment as a national assignment. We are ready to give all it takes to make sure we block out all illegitimate on customs tradings within Kano-Gidawa axis.
The coordinator called for more collaboration from border communities in information sharing about the activities and movement of smugglers to ensure success in the fight against economic saboteurs. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Imparting practical knowledge of the Quran is the way to go in addressing moral decadence and extremism among the Muslim youth population of Nigeria. This is the submission of scholars at the closing of a week-long national Quranic recitation competition held in Dusi, the Jigawa state capital. Our Salis reports that Plateau State emerges the overall winner of the competition.
17-year-old Imran Dahir Haruna from Plateau State, he won a brand new Toyota Avensis car, laptop and cash prize for winning the 60th category. The week-long annual event is the brainchild of Jama'atul Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatus Sunnah that attract participants representing different parts of the country.
It unites the Muslim Ummah in the country.
When the youths are engaged in the recitation of the glorious Quran, they will become very responsible, reliable citizens of the nation.
Governor Muhammad Badar Abubakar, represented by Deputy Governor Umar Ramadi, commended the body of Jibwi for taking the lead in promoting Islamic knowledge. Other speakers called on Nigerians to intensify prayers for continued peace, stability, and prosperity of the country. Various categories of participants in the competition won other consolation prizes as an encouragement. From Dusi, Hawa Haliru, NTA News.
Well, that was the report put together by Hawa
Haliru and not Awal Salisu as earlier stated. Next is our Benin Network Center with Ogo Chukuka with more reports, but after the commercial break.
Thanks for staying tuned. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has adopted a new policy on agricultural technology for innovation for the country's agricultural development. Musa Ali reports that the policy is to be implemented from 2022 to 2025.
These are a group of women farmers in Kano State learning how to use heavy-duty farming equipment to enhance their output. Operating the machine is not as easy as other local equipment, but is faster and can cover a large area in a short period of time. And the guideline for the use of technology and innovation introduced by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is to support smallholder farmers like these women. The policy, unveiled by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Mustafa Babashehuri, is to enhance access to improved inputs and linkages amongst research and teaching institutions, as well as improve on the level of agricultural mechanization.
It also gives adequate attention to fisheries, value chain, particularly the artisanal fisheries, with the aim of reducing the import to meet domestic consumption.
It is observed that the policy strategies have been redefined to also focus on the establishment of cottage industries and agro-processing zones for priority commodities.
Will take into consideration the National Agricultural Technology Innovation Policy focus designed to revamp and revolutionize Nigerian agriculture through injection of knowledge, technology, and innovation.
I wish to hereby weigh in our support to its eventual implementation. Agriculture takes place in the states naturally, and obviously the policy needs the buy-in of the states to be fully adopted, and we sincerely hope that the views and suggestions by the various stakeholders will be incorporated in the emerging policy.
In the meantime, the National Biosafety Management Agency says it's keeping a guard against any form of introduction or importation of any kind of genetically modified crops without permission. The Director General of the agency said the federal government has so far approved the commercialization of genetically modified maize and beans. The government has also approved field trial of genetically modified cassava and also granted permission for the importation of GM soybean and maize for animal feed.
The approval of genetically modified maize known as stellar maize. This maize has the genes that are for drought tolerance, for insect resistance.
Production, processing, and marketing of any kind of genetic materials is prohibited without approval from the National Biosafety Management Agency. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Research shows that Nigeria is yet to develop its potential in terms of organic farming, though it is an agrarian country with a track record of being one of the world's leading producers of root and tuber crops. In this report, Ijoma Ugweke takes a look at the challenges and benefits of organic farming.
Organic farming, though new in the country with less than 10 years of application, has few practitioners who are mostly specialized farmers and some NGOs. With the country still grappling with the challenges of managing waste, organic farming has a model of zero waste concept. This is created in such a way that waste from one forms resource for another. Waste such as fowl dung, duck and pigs are converted as manure for plants cultivation.
We are sure of what we are doing, and the palms you see harvested. By the time we harvest our palms, we'll now be doing our own palm kernel cake and palm kernel oil to give the fish, for the chicken, for the pigs and all the rest of them.
Waste to wealth is one of the benefits of organic farming. It therefore behoves of government to channel more resources towards this aspect of farming to reduce waste
in the country.
You can recycle to get a lot of raw materials, I'm told, like electricity and all that. But the technology, what about the machinery?
To contribute globally to food sufficiency, they need to identify people who have the passion for agriculture and sponsor them to drive home the ideals of organic farming for growth in agricultural sector is key. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
As part of government's drive to transform the nation's economy, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has supported hide and skin businesses in Katsina with 2,006 bags of industrial salts to address preservation challenges. Shehu Adamu reports that with the gesture, no fewer than 812 licensed operators of hide and skin businesses benefited to boost value chain.
Statistics indicate that on the average, Nigeria produces over 1 million hides and about 3 million skins per year from the registered abattoirs and slaughterhouses, which provide job opportunities and sustain livelihood, especially in rural areas. This therefore places the country as one of the constant supplier of leather to European and Asian markets, as Nigeria's leather is rated globally among the highest in quality. With this development, the federal government, through its Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, assisted hides and skins business operators in Katsina with industrial salt for preservation to boost local tanneries, to generate foreign exchange for the country and create more jobs.
To avoid wastage of their products, that is why the federal government came in and gave them this package.
The idea behind it is to boost the morale of the hide and skin association or trade.
Under the arrangement, each of the beneficiaries received between 6 and 3 bags of the industrial salt, which they describe as encouraging and commended the federal government.
We are grateful to federal government for the assistance. This is what we buy from market, but now being given free.
Stakeholders therefore advise the beneficiaries to make good use of the assistance and ensure proper registration of their businesses to drive the nation's economy. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Away from agriculture, the collaboration between Akwa Ibom State and federal government in the provision of enabling and well-secured environments has been attributed to be one of the main reasons for the continuous influx of visitors to the state, especially this Yuletide. Kelvin Samuel reports that some stakeholders made this known while speaking on factors responsible for increased visits to the state.
There are a number of factors that naturally attract visitors to any state, which include level of peace in the area, as no visitor would like to spend his or her time, especially during Yuletide, in a violence-prone environment. Accessibility, presence of needed infrastructures, as well as the people's hospitality, among others, all of which stakeholders say have been made available in Akwa Ibom State through the collaborative effort of the state and federal government, and as such have been responsible to the numerous number of holiday makers who consider Akwa Ibom State top on the list of places to spend the Yuletide with friends and family members.
Given the federal government fund and federal government support, we've kept Akwa Ibom State as the most beautiful and the tourist destination of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Tourism is the greatest alternative. Tourism is better than oil. Why is it better? It touches everyone. When a tourist comes in, let's say a family comes into Uyo town to spend, let's say, 250,000 naira. They are going to spend that 250,000 naira to pay hotel accommodation, to eat in restaurants, to buy things in shops. If any of them fall sick, they will go to pharmacies and hospitals and spend money. They will buy things to take home like artifacts. They will also consume many services.
It is worthy of note that this Yuletide has witnessed influx of people from different walks of life into the state, which is rated as one among the most secured and peaceful states across the country, with tourist attractions like the Ibom Christmas Village, Ibom Air, the just concluded Christmas Carol, among others, that brought many down to the state from within and outside the country. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 859 new cases of COVID-19 in 13 states of the Federation and the FCT. The breakdown shows that Lagos recorded the highest number of new infections with 555, followed by FCT with 57. Rivers has 44, Plateau is next with 43, Ondo 34, Kwara 23, Kano 18, Ogun 16, Enugu 11, Oyo 6, Delta 5, Bauchi and Bayelsa states have 3 cases each, while Edo State recorded a case. With this development, Nigeria now has 238,420 confirmed cases, with 212,770 of patients treated and discharged, while 3,024 persons have died of the virus. Police Command Secondary School, Ombak Obio Itam in Akwa Ibom State is ready for academic activities. And Sikak Okon reports that the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Ita Enang, made this known when he inspected the school to ascertain the level of job done.
Senator Itainang inspected some federal government projects in Ibionibom local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Among the projects inspected is the Police Command Secondary School. The senator, while going around the project site, expressed satisfaction at the level of job done, which he says has reached 90% completion for the resumption of academic activities.
What we need now is for the authorities to accept that they can even start an emergency, because we need facilities like this, and we cannot just get this facility on like that it is waiting for next academic session while nothing is happening now.
The senator also inspected the ongoing construction of Youth Development Center at Presbyterian Senior Science School at Ididep and acknowledged the support he has received by Ididep community.
This is given to us by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. His Excellency President Buhari says politics is over, election is over, it is now governance. So he's given Akwa Ibom the greatest opportunities, and this is one of the things he's doing through the Ministry of Youth Development.
It is the hope of the people that the school will attract more progress and development to the area when academic activities resume, while commending the federal government for the establishment of federal government projects in the area. Nsika Okon, NTA News.
It's time now to re-establish contact with our Benin Network Center, where Ogochukwuka is ready for us on Nationwide.
Thank you, Ayodeji. Members of the Edo State Association for the Deaf received food items for the festive period. The package was put together by some members of the association in diaspora. Eugenia Ndubisi has details.
Until their travel to Spain and USA, Osage Debiri and Anwuli Keri Oko were active members of the Edo State Association for the Deaf and Dumb. Hence, at this festive period, they put their resources together to put smiles on the faces of their members as they distribute rice, vegetable oil, and other.
Our sincere apologies, we have to discontinue with our Benin Network Center. Young Usman Umar Dangona name has become a household in the field of innovations and inventions in the country. He is also the architect of seamless cell phones and a mini wireless spying car designed to enhance operations of security agencies in the country. To keep the momentum going, the wonderful chap has again developed a multifunction Bluetooth robotic car. Bashir Nababa tells us more.
It may amaze you to know that the drone hovering in the sky is from the collection of an indigene of Yobe State, Usman Umar Dagona. The 22-year-old Usman Dagona is from Gashua, the headquarters of Badi local government area in Yobe North Senatorial District, and a BSc Chemistry 200 level undergraduate at the Federal University Gashua. In his recent exploits, the enterprising Nigerian created a multi-purpose robotic car developed with energy recovery system to perform multiple tasks, including receiving voice command and images via natural language processor and a high-speed camera. The unique features of Dagona's discoveries are that their execution largely depend on locally sourced raw materials. Some of these inventions include Bluetooth robotic, Wi-Fi networking, and wireless spine cars, while those in the flying category are Dini multipurpose, intelligence, and surveillance drones. Also pioneered and introduced into the telecommunication industry is the seamless cell phone, which converts oxygen into electrical energy to make and receive calls, while in the pipeline are kidney flusher and a water treatment system to address prevalence of kidney disorder and perennial water shortage.
If there is a lot of financial support, I can still, let's say, use the modern high techs to build a project, a device that can be used internationally.
We are now trying to see how we can promote him, assist him by way of giving research, and then also to find collaborators from sister universities and other research agencies.
At the family residence in the ancient city of Gashua, his mother, Salma Hassan, revealed that growing up, Osman has peculiar attributes that distinguish him from the rest of her 11 children.
Osman was creative and innovative, and he's a type that was very calm and reserved.
I pray government will give him all the necessary support.
I am very optimistic that if we can give him a little encouragement by our side, the government, honestly speaking, only God knows what this boy will become.
During the 2019-2020 National Emerging Chemistry Competition, the young Dagona broke the jinx to clinch the first position in a contest that was likely impossible to do so.
What's another brilliant mind here in Nigeria? Next on Nationwide is Sports Update.
Ahead of the 2022 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, the Super Eagles of Nigeria camp opens Wednesday in Abuja, with invited players expected to report for training sessions. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has approved the use of video assistant referee at the 2022 AFCON in Cameroon. CAF made use of the VAR for the first time at an international tournament at the 2019 AFCON held in Egypt, but only at the knockout stage. But it will be used in all the 52 matches of the 2022 AFCON. In another development, the draws for the group stage of the 2021-2022 CAF Champions League held in Cairo, Egypt Tuesday indicate that Al Ahly, Mamelodi Sundowns, Al Hilal and Al Merrikh are drawn in Group A. Raja Casablanca, Oroya FC, ES Setiv and Amazulu FC are in Group B. Group C pitched ES Esperance, ESS FC, Belouizdad and Galaxy FC together. In Group D are Wydad, Zamalek, Atletico Petroleos and GD Zagrada football clubs. Matches are slated to commence on the 11th of February 2022. In the Nigerian Professional Football League, table toppers Remo Stars will have another opportunity to hold on to the first position when the team hosts Nasarawa United in match day 3 of the league scheduled for Wednesday. Enyimba will hope to continue its impressive runs with a date with Rivers United as Katsina United host Kano Pillars, among other matches. In the English Premier League, Cavani came off the bench to rescue Manchester United from defeat Monday night in a match that ended 1 goal apiece with Newcastle United. And on a sad note, Algerian footballer Sofiane Luka passed away during a second-tier league match between Malouda and ASM Oran on Monday. The player collapsed during the game, but all efforts to save him failed. Meanwhile, it was a thrilling outing in boxing at the 12th edition of the Governor's Belt 2021, held at Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. Shitu Afolabi of Callisto Boxing Club was the best.
And we give them the opportunity in an exhibition to get a feel for what it's like performing in front of a crowd.
I have seen development of boxing for youths in this country.
A total of 10 bouts featured, including the juniors exhibition fights. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NT News.
And that's Nationwide on NTA. We thank you for watching. I'm Ayo Deji. Makinde, please remember to connect with the NTA and stand against rape and rapists. Good evening.